Hi, this is Bill Prater, and welcome to the Business Builder Show, where we feature champions in their respective industries from all over the world. Our mission is to provide you with timely, provocative, and actionable resources to accelerate your quest for business excellence. Today, you know what? We've been crashed. We've got a surprise guest, and let's find out who in the world found our interview room.
Yes, Bill, thank you. I just was so excited about the Business Builder Show and about you that I just had to come find you and meet you. I'm so grateful to be here today. My name is Karen Hall, and I am known as the Queen of Empathy. And I am a trainer and executive producer. I am a speaker and international best-selling author. And I also am the managing director of the Women's Journal and the Spanish Journal of the Los Angeles Tribune. So I help produce events where people can speak, and I elevate them, and I host, and then I also speak as well.
So what are we going to talk about today?
Today, I don't know what direction we're going to go, but I love to talk about connecting. I love to talk about emotional intelligence. I talk about the empathy advantage and how we can build relationships of trust in our professional and in our personal life to create more wealth and to create more fulfillment in our life.
Okay, I love this whole approach of empathy. So let's focus on the last one you gave us. So here's the question, because you gave us a long list. Who do you serve?
I serve people that heart-centered leaders who are wanting to build more trust, and they're trying to find ways to build resilience in their teams. I help people that are in sales and marketing that are trying to connect with their clients, and they're trying to build their know and trust factor. And they don't really feel like this is a safe place. Sometimes they have a lot of fear about making that cold call or talking to that new client. And I help them reframe it so that they can see that really they're just making a new friend, and how they can connect with that person and relate so that they can first relate, and the message that they share can resonate, and then they can build a connection with that person.
So Karen, you mentioned heart-centered people, but they have problems apparently. And so what are those problems that you're able to solve for these people?
A lot of people that are dealing with problems are resistant, and they're in denial, and they have a feeling where they don't really want to work on those. But a heart-centered leader is somebody that really is a truth seeker. I love truth seekers because they want to know more. They want to learn. They're curious, and they want to find out how they can improve and how they can build not just their business, but how they can build their relationships, how they can build themselves so that they have something to give to other people. Most of us have trauma that we've gone through in our life. Some people don't think of it as trauma. Some people don't want to think about it. But most of us have gone through some kind of disappointment or some kind of hard thing that we've had to overcome. And I love to hear stories of overcoming. And I love to help people see their gifts that they have used in their overcoming and that they can use now in the thing that they're dealing with right now. And the other thing is that a lot of people don't realize that when they're going through hard things, that they're grieving, that there's a loss involved. And sometimes there's fears involved. And those can be scary to face. But as we do, and as we work through that, and as I provide a safe place where people can pour out their heart and we can sort through it and make sense of it and then use their gifts to move forward, I find that to be so fulfilling. I love seeing people have these aha moments where the light bulb goes on and they're like, oh, absolutely. Yes, I can see that now. And as we see things differently, that's when the miracles happen.
Beautiful. Let's have you give us some insights into how you go about your process of helping people. And maybe if you can think of a case study or an example and just walk us through, how does that person come into your universe? How do you identify their issues? And then what process do you go through, Karen, to help them get out of it?
So I'll tell you about a salesperson that had started a new position, and he was very nervous. And he was meeting with the team, and there were all these goals that they had, and he wasn't reaching the goals. And he started to feel like, you know what, I don't really like knocking on these doors. I don't really like these cold calls. I don't like talking to these people that aren't very friendly, and they don't want to talk to me. And it was really affecting his self-esteem, and he started feeling discouraged. And as they kept putting more pressure on him to meet the goals, he felt like a failure. He felt like there's something wrong with me, and he was ready to quit. And so he came to me because other people had told him about how I had helped coach through sales and through fears and through building confidence to be able to do a new job specifically. And I do work with entrepreneurs. I've been the scared entrepreneur that was trying to figure out how to reach people and how to connect with people. And I'm like, I don't know, I look buy something from me, and it just felt icky. I did not like the feeling of icky sales. And because I had to work through those things, I thought, well, I'll just teach these things that I have done. So I said to this young man, I said, what if you thought, as you made that first conversation, what if you thought, I wonder how we're going to connect today? I wonder what new friend I'm going to meet today. I said, how would that change the way you looked at things? And he was like, oh, wow, that would be totally different. I said, what if you thought, how can I serve this person? What do I have that I could give to them? Maybe it's a smile. Maybe they don't want to have your product. They don't want to do anything with you business-wise, but maybe you could lift them by just a smile. How could you care and how could you serve? And so when he went in with that attitude, he had this huge paradigm shift. And we talked about his personality. We talked about ways where he had served people in the past, ways that he had built connections, and his superpowers. And as I saw his superpowers, and I was able to point those things out to him and show him, you could use your superpower this way. You could use your superpower this way. He started making sales, and he was like, oh my goodness, it's working. He became the rookie of the year. He was making 6 figures, his first position, and it was phenomenal. I was so amazed at what he did, but he applied these things of first finding his superpower, and he had to show empathy to himself. He had to love himself through this process because he had to validate the fact that it was scary. This is scary. This is intimidating. And I do feel these feelings. So we acknowledged how he felt. Then we nurtured him through the process. And then he showed love and empathy to his potential clients. And he forgot about himself. He thought about the other people. And I'm sure you're familiar with Zig Ziglar, but one of my favorite quotes that he says is, you can have everything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. And so that was the mantra that he used. It was, how could he help other people get what they want, and finding out what they wanted and then meeting those needs. And so the emotional intelligence aspect was massive for him to be able to be successful.
Yeah, I think a lot of subject matter experts do get hung up into, like when you said sales is icky. You've resonated with a lot of our listeners, and then they're thinking, how in the world can I talk to Karen Hall? How would they find you? What's the best way?
The best way is on LinkedIn, and they can just send me a message, and I would love to connect with them. And then my podcast is called The Hero Within, Karen Hall. They could find me on YouTube, and yeah, so that would be just great.
So on LinkedIn, it is Karen Hall. There's not like 5,000 Karen Halls or something.
There might be 5,000. They can find Karen Hall, the Queen of Empathy.
There you go. Beautiful. Thank you very much. We got a couple minutes left. And so I'm thinking, I asked you a half a dozen questions there, but I didn't ask you one question I probably should have, Karen. So what is that unasked question and the answer to it?
The unasked question is, how did I overcome my fears? And how did I reach out to people? Because I was terrified of public speaking. Sales, oh my goodness, that just was scary to me. But I remembered that I did have a superpower. I was curious and I love to meet people. And so people have said to me, you've never met a stranger. And I thought, oh, I could apply that in sales because I love to hear people's story. I love to find out about them. And as I did that and I found out what their needs were, I was able to meet their needs. And then they wanted to buy. It wasn't me chasing after them, trying to convince them. They wanted what I had. And so it was just matching that at that time. So that's how I was able to do that, was to remember my divine identity, that I am a being of love and they are too. And when I loved them and I found ways to serve them and to meet their needs, then they felt loved. And the love just grew between us, and I just made a new friend and we bonded. And I am friends with a lot of people that I have done
I
sales
can
with.
imagine you are. Well, that was a great question and a greater answer. Karen Hall, thanks very much for helping us out today.
Thank you, Bill. It was great to be with you. Continue building. I love what you're doing with the business builder.
So, everybody, in closing, let's focus on the single fact that our businesses don't become extraordinary in a single moment. Instead, they get there as a result of the owner doing three things. One, creating a vision for the future. Second, using a management system to execute on that vision. And third, employing and leveraging high performance teams. They don't have to work for you. Could be somebody like Karen Hall right here in front of you now. You can get access to all those kinds of concepts. Just go to my YouTube channel, Business Mastery Pro. Thanks for listening, Karen Hall. Thanks for spending your time with us today.
Thank you, Bill. It's great to be with you today.